me unlisted as a nigga rise up. I don't want no attention, I like it that way. I like it when it's not so. Come clean, at least I thought that's what the church mean. When you join the hands engulfed in sin, trying to be clean, and the preacher keeps calling you out like he is mean. Somebody come up to the altar and come clean, but if he ain't all clean, how we break free from dirty? Guess we all got our hands tied up. Who can you trust? Trust greed, cause if anything matters is money, and I'm tired of the schemes trying to take it from me. Where's the light? Or am I just born in insight to unite? But if we don't latch on, who cares, right? Trying to go from broken bullet to financially upright. I see the light, and I see why people be uptight. But if we don't change it all, it won't change itself for y'all. Enjoy your life. Most will say I'm right, cause the greed got us all. We won't change shit at all, and I like that. I like it that way. I like it when it's not so. Full of fakes. Just cause they getting money doesn't mean they not snakes. I will give you the burner, but your hands got the shakes. And the bullets cost too much for me to let them go to waste. Trying to stuff something that can't fit inside the safe. And I got a gun too big to ever fit inside my waist. Am I paranoid? No, I just wanna live. 2,000 Busta Rhymes, niggas still ain't safe. I've been crossed the line, niggas still wanna race. Not knowing I'm about to put one in your face. Keep all the ones, put hundreds in the safe. Say the load too big, well I need to get in shape. Never knew the plug, I'm no one from out of state. Keep the blue and yellow Kool-Aid, grind my safe. Keep me unlisted as a nigga rise up. I don't want no attention, I like it that way. I like it when it's not so. Come clean, at least I thought that's what the church mean. When you join the hands engulfed in sin, trying to be clean, and the preacher keeps calling you out like he is mean. Somebody come up to the altar and come clean, but if he ain't all clean, how we break free from dirty? Guess we all got our hands tied up. Who can you trust? Trust greed, cause if anything matters is money, and I'm tired of the schemes trying to take it from me. Where's the light? Or am I just born in insight to unite? But if we don't latch on, who cares, right? Trying to go from broken bullet to financially upright. I see the light, and I see why people be uptight. But if we don't change it all, it won't change itself for y'all. Enjoy your life. Most will say I'm right, cause the greed got us all. We won't change shit at all, and I like that. I like it that way. I like it when it's not so. Full of fakes. Just cause they getting money doesn't mean they not snakes. I will give you the burner, but your hands got the shakes. And the bullets cost too much for me to let them go to waste. Trying to stuff something that can't fit inside the safe. And I got a gun too big to ever fit inside my waist. Am I paranoid? No, I just wanna live. 2,000 Busta Rhymes, niggas still ain't safe. I've been crossed the line, niggas still wanna race. Not knowing I'm about to put one in your face. Keep all the ones, put hundreds in the safe. Say the load too big, well I need to get in shape. Never knew the plug, I'm the one from out of state. Keep the blue and yellow Kool-Aid, grind my safe. Keep me unlisted as a nigga rise up. I don't want no attention, I like it that way. I like it when it's not so. Come clean, at least I thought that's what the church
There you go. You can hear me now. But fuck. That's not gonna be on the stream. That's not gonna be the audio that's gonna be played out there. Audio output. Oh yes, Zoo. Oh, thanks a lot. They call him. But yeah, man. So again, for the people, now that I fixed the actual sound, with that, we're going to be talking about the election. Again, voting is important. I think it's very important. A lot of my ancestors have worked hard to even just fight just for the simple idea, just voting. So I definitely stand by it. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. That's on you. But yes, again, I don't think that that's the best decision that you could possibly make. But with that, man, we're going to talk about actually a movie which is head of state, as well as also we're going to talk about what some of the proposals that's on the ballot for Michigan and Arizona. Today, I say what I said is definitely going to still have some nerdum shit, but it's also going to have some politics shit. So with that, man, let's see. Jamel, are you back on the mic at all, man? Are you back with us?
Yeah. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, man. Just wanted to make sure that, yeah, completely can fucking hear you now. So with that, man, let's go ahead and let's switch over. As you could tell, we have this big no nonsense stream that's happening right now. For some reason, this fucking shit is weird, bro. Today is a great day. Today is an amazing day. For some reason, it's hiding everything. Webcam, host cam is right there. With that, man, Jamel is right there to that side. And then also JT is right below, man. Thanks a lot for joining the Historical Voices. It is not this disorganized usually. Usually we'd have had these fucking things tinkered by now, bro. With that, man, how's everything going with you two gentlemen, man? How are y'all feeling by that way? Gotcha. Your vocals are not even going through like a boss. No vocals fucking involved.
Nobody hears me?
Now we hear you, bro. Now we hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'm doing
good. And then JT said that he's sick. So hopefully it gets better. We're going to work and we're going to do our best to make this shit work the way it possibly can. So please bear with us. Bear witness to our semi-greatness today. So what is some new shit that's been going on for y'all, man? What y'all got popping going on for y'all for this past week?
Much this past week, QuickBooks has been down, so I have not been able to get logged in and actually handle my business.
Fair enough.
Dissatisfied with them right now.
Fair enough.
I did talk to a great rep today, and his name was Jason, and he was very useful.
Oh, so his name was actually Jason, man. Jasons usually tend to be great, man. But you know what? You ain't gonna call me by my Cassius Clay name today, Jamel. I'm joking, man. I'm joking. That was a dig at a person this past week, but we're not gonna talk about that person this week. You're not gonna call me. You ain't gonna Cassius Clay me today. Which, by the way, I think that's the. I think that is a fucking bro. All right, we gonna move on to this thing, man. So usually we start off the segment, the show with a segment. It's called "I Said What I Said." Now, say what I said. We give a person the ability to be able to take 2 minutes, say what the fuck they want to say about an actual topic that's coming up, that I bring up, or if the other gentlemen have an actual topic as well. 2 minutes on the clock. They get to actually talk about whatever they want to feel. Yes, we retort. If it brings a conversation, it brings a conversation. Amazing. But when that conversation is dead, we move on to the next topic. 2 minutes on the clock. I said what I said. So we had actually really fucking cool things that actually happened in Nerdum this week. One of the cool, like funny and cool things that actually happened this past week is Yahya Abdul Mateen got picked for MCU. He left DCEU to become Wonder Man. Did y'all get to see that shit? All right. So if you so Wonder Man is considered a character. He does have super strength. He has invulnerability, kind of like Superman as well. But he has like ionic powers as well. So basically, he can do phase on like electric, like energy powers as well. With that, is kind of like going into the change with now DCEU has picked up James Gunn. And so a lot of people are thinking that it is time to abandon ship and DCEU is actually dying because you have a star like Yaya who actually left, even though he had a major role in the movie Aquaman as well. So, JT, what'd you say?
Honestly, I don't see it that way. I mean, people are they gonna start. I think you're gonna start seeing Smith. Like I would not be surprised if, say, Guardians, if you see get Dave Bautista move over to the DC side. Like I think it's about that time people gonna start switching up. I think James Gunn after him, I think that might give people a little more confidence that hey, they might have some stability. But yeah, good for Yaya. Is a character that like the most famous thing that I know about Wonder Man is that his brain pattern was used to create the original Vision in the comic books. That's the most that I know about him. But cool. Like he'll be fine. Like we ain't gonna get no Wonder Man solo movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, he'll be good. Like he'll be a good side character in some of these upcoming projects. And I think that if they build him out enough, maybe give him a show, maybe. But other than that, it's a good actor getting another good one. Congrats to Yaya. Get the bag for Aquaman 2 in a couple months. Get that bag for Wonder Man.
Fair enough, man. So I think that like it does say I stated this, man, to you, and this is a question for JT after this. I think it's a bad decision that like we have James Gunn. I get that we have the rapport for James Gunn with Suicide Squad that recently just came out, and then of course Peacemaker, which we all agree Peacemaker was good. So pretty much, right? But one of the things that we also agree is that like a lot of these superhero movies are replicating each other and then replicating the same formula for each character. You have an asshole character and they don't talk normally to each other, and nothing is normal about the characteristics of any of these characters. So what would you say if you were sitting in the actual writing room, JT, to James Gunn when it comes to the DC universe? You lost Yaya. You have, obviously, yes, it's not a loss with Amber Heard, but it's even looking like Jason Momoa is moving over, and a couple of other stars are actually moving over to MCU. What would you say to James Gunn as he's starting his new job and is working on his new project?
Do something else. DC has a very deep amount of IP, and they really kind of hover with the ones that made it, the Justice League-esque ones. You know what I'm saying? But you could make a whole movie out of just a Flash having different Flashes. You know what I'm saying? Like they've never played around with multiple versions. You know, they put into no live action and just type of stuff. There's a whole bunch in the catalog to do. I think the problem I really have with some of these movies is like when they try to combine different storylines and they end up telling not any of them very good. You know, I really would much rather have them just take an arc and do that shit, even if it's got dang shot for shot, frame for frame. We'll call it a visual novel based on a visual novel, and then all of a sudden you got a movie that doesn't suck. You
Fair.
know, so there's so much content out there, but I would tell James Gunn, look, focus on what you can work with. Don't worry about all these other people. You don't need Aquaman. That's only 2/3 of the water of the Earth's surface area. You know what I'm saying? We have a whole bunch of more interesting stuff going on here on land. It's not full of a bunch of CGI. So just stay grounded. Stay grounded in the comic story, and stay grounded in your material. I really think if he sticks with that, it don't matter what else he made. If his brand is going to transfer, or whatever, all that stuff, it's on a movie by movie basis in DC, and it's not like they could really do much worse without trying.
Yeah.
Because man, like whatever they keep throwing at the wall is not sticking for us. So, it's not a problem just to go back to the drawing board and start something new and just do it right.
Man. So I would say this, man. First off, actually, I'm gonna have Jamel say this, man. What would you tell James Gunn, man, as soon as you go, because you seem to be a fan of him, of the latest work that he's been doing in the DC universe. So what would you tell him when you go sit in the room?
I'm a fan of James Gunn as a whole because, especially like when you look at the stuff from Marvel, stuff from he's doing, the biggest thing that he can do is he understands character and he can bring out sympathy and empathy with a lot of these characters. I think that especially the lower tier characters that no one's like to this day, I still think the biggest flex that Marvel has done, and I think like his shining moment is he made this irrelevant ass Guardians team tree and characters that people see in. So I think that if he, as creative head and my other boy heading up like the side of things, if they can just focus on finding the right directorial talent and writing to be unique in their own stories, like enough leeway, give them enough to tell these unique stories. Because part of the problem is that we have the machine method that Marvel's been doing. A lot of stuff can kind of turn out pretty samey. Dialogue turns out the same, writing turns out the same, and it's just, hey, kind of stick to this formula, do the assembly line kind of style to it. And if you really allow these directors to shine, you can get a lot of special material. It was allowed, even in a movie that I don't think is good, like Eternals, you can see some of who she is directing in that movie. So trust the people that you direct, trust the characters that you have at your disposal. Find a plan and stick to it. You can't keep doing the, all right, we're gonna reset every couple of years. Nah, focus on you. Don't try and chase these trends because you have some good characters. And I wish I could have did a little Eastside review of Black Adam because I've got some real interesting thoughts on that. Focus on your people and get good directors. Simple.
Fair enough, man. So this kind of goes into my next topic, and then I got a couple of questions on the proposals that's being announced right now. For Black Panther, they just recently came out and talked about the original script for Black Panther. Did you guys hear about the original script that was originally written for T'Challa?
For Black Panther 1?
For Black Panther 2. Black Panther 2, the Wakanda Forever. It was for that. There was a script that was originally written for T'Challa before Chadwick Boseman passed away. And so what the script was originally was T'Challa mourning the fact that he was gone for 5 years and that he was completely not there for Wakanda. And he was basically left Wakanda helpless without a Black Panther. And what'd you say?
Okay, go on.
So it was supposed to be this story where that T'Challa has to navigate trying to be king of a country that he had missed out on for 5 years since the snap. Namor was still supposed to be the main villain of it and taking advantage of it. That's why we seen the actual mention of the Trembles inside of the actual Endgame movie. But it was supposed to be T'Challa was supposed to be mourning Wakanda. Now we have that role reverse and we have Wakanda Forever, and now they're mourning the death of T'Challa. So, I feel like
There, I'm back.
gotcha. Yeah, you back.
So I
So
heard Namor was supposed to be the enemy.
Namor was still, yeah, Namor was going to be the enemy. That's why they talked about the trembles at the coastal lakefront and stuff like that. But it was supposed to be him being upset and being frustrated because of the fact that he was gone for 5 years. And apparently T'Challa was going to go through massive depression because of it. So
This is stupid. I'm so happy they didn't do that bullshit to T'Challa. Hold on, let me talk about this for like just 20 seconds.
go ahead.
What the frick do they think a monarch of a sovereign nation is doing outside of his nation for 5 years? What? What was he doing? Being snapped? That's excusable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, what the fuck is that? Can we have a movie with black people where they didn't just get bullshit trauma that happens to be trendy thrown on them for a little bit? Can we get this, please? I'm sorry. What was the question?
So, I was gonna ask. The question was going to be, fuck. I'm trying not to laugh at that, but that's yeah. But I guess the thing, it would make sense because it would make a power vacuum because of the fact that you still have M'Baku there, and but yeah, what would they do? Because the border tribe is there, and Wakabi. I mean, we don't know if he got locked up yet. Yeah. Well, fuck my question. Jamel, let's move on. Because the question I was going to ask was pretty silly. It's I guess in context then, because all I was going to ask is that like, do you feel like this? It was a. It's going to sound really shitty, but at the same token, it's not going to sound as bad as what we talked about.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way this is going, you might have to scrap this question.
Yeah, it sounds like it kind of fuck like
You trying to start this lawnmower up, and it's just not. It's not going. I just have to move
That
on.
is a shitty script, and I'm so glad it got killed.
no pun intended. No pun intended.
I don't even have to talk. I'm confused. I'm more confused now than when we started the question. Okay.
The reason why I was gonna say, well, the reason why I was gonna ask is because of the fact that like the first thought that I had was, fuck, did Chadwick Boseman passing away actually benefited the script? That's what I was gonna ask.
We should have moved on.
See, that's what sounds fucked up about it. But then when you say what you say, it just definitely does minimize.
I mean, this question. We should.
I answered the question. We ain't got to ask
You
it.
give me
Yeah.
on the clock. You mean since I didn't do it. We couldn't talk about the last week we went on. Can just give me 2 minutes on the clock because I've got like some stuff picked up off y'all.
All right, and you break it up just a tad bit, but yeah,
2 minutes.
I will give you 2 minutes. I just like I said, you kind of answered my question already, so that's why I say you fuck my question, because I felt like it was a stupid idea. I genuinely felt it was a stupid idea. It was a horrible writing on that part. So JT, I think we exclusively feel the same way when it comes to that. That was a pretty bad script idea.
I tell you what, if the ass cancer hadn't got to him, that fucking script would have.
Yeah, that was.
It sounds like they trying to put a hit out on the brother. Like, why would you do this to him? Jamel, what's up?
Jamel, here's your 2 minutes, Jamel.
He was trying to start up that lawnmower, and that lawnmower just didn't need to be started that day. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, cops came to place. I posted a little chat, little clip in the Discord. Cops came by. I was doing a live stream of a wrestling pay-per-view. They came by. One of these people out here apparently called cops on me, saying there was a disturbance or something, and the police came. So that was a fun way that threw off the energy of my stream for a while, which I find funny because there are always these shitty ass couples out here having these end of the relationship arguments loud as hell. No one calls the cops on them. Okay, I see what it is. Also, Black Adam. Is it possible? This is maybe the most entertaining slumper of a movie that I have ever experienced. It is one. It is fancy. Where it's like the movie is not. I will say this.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Thor: Love and Thunder as a movie. I know on technical merits, it's not good, but I had so much fun watching the movie. Like, yo, I would see this movie again. Like The Rock, he's cool in the movie. Like the dialogue in the movie is, or story, what you could call it, very good. But I like what I'm saying. It's one of those things where it's just like, yo, I know this ain't good, but this is fun. It is the quintessential junk food movie. And it's like, oh, you put in the group chat that we had, they had their Morbius. Like, nah, Morbius is just bad. This was fun. Even though it's a dumb movie, it's still fun. Like the music and the score in the movie is cool. A lot of I like The Rock in the movie. He cool. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate is cool as hell. I hate that they made Hawkman basically the vice principal and being all sticking him. But hell, he looked cool in the movie. Honestly, all the heroes, Cyclone and Smasher was the only two who were just like, you could take them out the movie, wouldn't lose anything. We got a big dumb CGI villain, but I like the movie, but I recognize, this is a slumper of a movie. It ain't gonna be on no top 10 list, but I had fun, and that was a strange day for me. That day that I saw Black Adam and police came out of my place. That was a strange day. So let's move on to the proposals and stuff. I just needed to get that out there. Since
we got to get that out there. I have, because of the fact that we moved to this other question, I do have another script question, but this is to you, Jamel. Because of the fact that it is having to do kind of with your beloved movie. One of the things that actually came out was that The Rock has pretty much stated that he did not want this Black Adam to be associated with Shazam.
Okay, I know where you're going.
So
that's stupid. Like, it's one of the dumb things. It's like a thing that I find just because it's like you say Shazam, you're clearly tied to the Shazam character, Rock. That makes no sense. Like it's just like that. Go and cross over with Shazam. Now, if I were a betting boy, we gonna see The Rock and Shazam on screen in a future movie, maybe in Black Adam 2 or Shazam 3. Is gonna happen. I just find it dumb that it didn't happen in this movie or in Shazam 2. Now, Shazam 2 comes out in like December or something, or in early, I don't know when movies come out now, but like they could easily film a cameo and have The Rock appear in like a post-credit scene, just like they did a certain character at the end of Black Adam. But yeah, as far as I don't want Black Adam and Shazam crossing, that's just stupid.
I mean,
that's what I said. We can move on.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things that was stated is that like he wanted to be distant away from the Shazam project. Apparently the tone for Shazam is supposed to be not nearly the same as what Shazam was. But it's a thing that happened, and it's pretty funny and wild that like he's absolutely saying no, he doesn't want any part of that. So originally the plan was, instead of the Superman cameo at the end of the Shazam movie, it was supposed to be the cameo about Black Adam. And so what it was all 6 of them was going to be sitting at the actual their prospective chairs at their Captain Marvel cells. And they're going to notice that the 7th chair was there. And that was supposed to, and it was even referenced by the Grand Wizard. The Wizard. Man, I'm talking about the clan. The fucking clan. Wow. The fucking clan. Bro, this wizard was talking about how he gave these powers to somebody, but they used it for vengeance instead. So it was supposed to be referencing Shazam, but not Shazam, Black Adam, but nothing came into fruition with that. So with that, that was one of the biggest nerd pieces that happened in news. There's other things that happen. I want to hear JT actually go on this tangent real fast before we talk about the proposal. We got like a few more minutes. We got 20 minutes before we go into our movie review. Elon Musk announced $8 a month for a check on Twitter, bro. So, JT, have you heard about this news at all?
Yeah.
So I have a question, and I think that maybe you're going to go the same route that I think of, but I'm going to ask you a question in my opinion. Do you feel like this is only his way of trying to make people pay for the money that he was supposed to be spending towards Twitter?
Yes, he's a billionaire. Billionaires don't get to be billionaires by spending their own money. They find a sucker and they make you spend money. Or they find a sucker, they make you make the money, and then they take most of the money and give you beans back. Those are the only two ways you get to be billionaires in America. Full stop. So of course he's going to come up with some fuck shit like this and put it on Twitter. Now, the issue with this, I seen my uncle, man. He over here talking about Empress Gretchen Whitmore. Like, nobody calls her that or considers her that around these parts. But, he was over there talking about, Elon Musk is going to bring out the free speech. Free speech is not $8 a month, y'all. So you really got to understand that this motherfucker is full of it, and he does not have your best interest in mind. Like all billionaires, they don't give a shit about you. If they would just hand off some money. But you start talking about, hey, spend some money on some stuff, all of a sudden, he don't want to spend his $44 billion or whatever on Twitter. He talked all that shit, still got roped into it. And then what does he do? Immediately try to drive it to the ground. Telling people you got to work, 84-hour weeks or some stuff? Going in, immediately firing the board of directors, and they had written into their contract, you fire me, I get like $40 million or some shit. Come on, dude. This guy is obviously in over his head. He is out of his league in this corporation. He might know how to make some batteries and make some ships go up and down, but he does not know how to run social media. And you see him trolling, actually sharing more false information, sharing bullshit. Somebody who peddles bullshit does not need to be listened to. It don't matter how much money they got. Once you know that they peddling bullshit, you can ignore them until they actually come around with something relevant to say. But from what I can see, Elon Musk is a giant troll. So I think it'd be really funny if he trolled himself out of a few billion.
All right. Jamel, you look like you had something to say towards that, man.
Well, just two things. It was just a quick statement and a question for JT. One, people are just going to start, in even more than they are now, people just going to stop using Twitter because, it's already kind of a, what's the best word? A hornet's nest. That's what people say. Like, it's rough, especially if you got a vagina, a black vagina especially. It can be a rough place. So people are going to just start leaving like, you know what? I don't need this stress in my life. To JT, and I hope you don't get offended. Uncle that you're referring to, is he a little more my complexion, or
is he on the other side of the Mississippi River? Is he helping Brett Favre get his daughter that nice volleyball stadium?
The thing that boggles my mind is like how you can look at something so cut and dry as Brett Favre siphoning off government money so he doesn't have to pay. So this rich guy doesn't have to pay. Dog, if you're so rich, throw some money around. But these mugs, do you not have it in liquid? Is it all tied up in frozen assets, huh? Your ex-wife take that house? Like, what the... Pay your own money for shit. All these rich people love to talk about what they could buy. When you ask them to write a check, they start balking.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you don't get, like, a lot of these people don't get rich by spending money. They get rich by hustling or pumping and stealing. Speaking of which, and let's talk about elections.
Yeah, let's talk about elections. So this week we decided to do election. I feel like this. I think that we can all agree. It's important to be able to say we know what's on the ballot. So we all agreed on that part. Obviously, like there was some other conversation that came up with it, and there's nothing wrong with either side when it came to saying that. So I feel like in this aspect of it, I will definitely say that I agree with one ballot. I will say this. All proposals I voted yes on. I will go on the record and fucking say that. I voted yes on. But I am leaving it up to you to make your own decision on how you want to vote on this ballot. And no matter what you want to say. These two gentlemen are going to give their perspectives on why. I'm going to just leave it as I prefer you to be able to actually be informed. And there's a reason why I definitely take that stance on him. And I didn't get to explain this to these gentlemen last night. This is only one part of the story, and it's not necessarily the full story for why I go the route that I go. Obviously, y'all know that I did my multimedia journalism stuff. Jamel went to journalism school technically with me as well, with GVSU. Well, broadcast school. Either way, it's the same fucking difference. So with that, I believe that a person should just be informed on whatever decision they make. The frustrating part about me, and this is going to be my tangent about the election, is the fact that a lot of these elections and these ballots are written for the purpose of miseducating people in their final decision on a vote. And a lot of people are trying to force you to be able to actually go inside of the actual polling area and make a decision instantaneously when you, as a person, probably need your cell phone to look up a dictionary for a word to define whatever the fuck they're probably saying on that ballot. A lot of that shit is worded in ways that, like, honestly, is putting you at a disadvantage as a person. So I rather you guys know what's on the side of the ballot. My kids was going to a school, and at this school we get a letter because they go to a charter school there, and charter schools are usually invested in by separate parties. They're not funded by the state at all. And a politician decided to write, who actually is part owner of this fucking school, and wrote why you should vote these particular ways, and basically wrote one reason why you should vote and all the no's of why you shouldn't. And it sounded like it was supposed to be a horror letter. Later on, I'll make sure I copy and paste and post that shit later, or maybe even read it out loud. This fucking letter is fucking atrocious. But I feel like this, man, it's the same concept as when people said about Bill Cosby or R. Kelly. If you had 100 women said, not all 100 of those women could be lying. It's the same concept when it comes to what they did with this letter, where they wrote about 100 reasons why you should say no, but one reason why you should say yes. Well, if you're tailoring all of these messages towards me, obviously I'm going to vote the way that you're going to go. That's most likely, especially if you're not doing it in an educated aspect of it. So with that, I would prefer that we both say what's on both sides of the ballot, but then also give our perspectives. I feel like that's a compromise. Do we agree?
This is
agreement. I'll just say
we done hashed this shit out.
Yeah, we did. And so what would be Ballotpedia for do you want to do Arizona, Jamel? Or do you
just give a quick, like, not even on ballot proposals, it's the major races that are happening. It's
gotcha. Go for it.
It's a Senate, and it's a Senate seat as well as Secretary of State here in Arizona. And it's just something fascinating I'm noticing. We've got, for governor, lady by the name of Katie Hobbs is a Democrat, and the lady by the name of Carrie Lake is a Republican. And she's known as Lady Trump. So you kind of know she's a rising star in that movie. And what's funny about her, if you've seen, they did a special on her on The Daily Show, where she was pre-2016, pre-Trump. She was a liberal. She was Obama level. Then she started getting on that Trump pack, and now she is who she is. And it is fascinating how people turn. Like, that happened with a lot of people. But
bro,
the main thing,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Fascinating is that with Hobbs, the commercials that have been running and the ads that have been running, it kind of comes off a little bit like I'm a strong, almost moderate, borderline conservative because it's a lot of them points that people here in this border state have: protect the border, police, and it's just like, huh? A couple years ago, that would have been a different commercial. Mark Kelly running for Senate. He running against an open asshole who I don't know how he could win, but by the name of Blake Masters. This man is like the most from the speeches he's been given, from the material that he's been putting on. He believes abortion is a satanic practice, and if he gets into the Senate, goal one for him is to outlaw it countrywide. Mark Kelly, he's putting a little bit of that pro-abortion out there, but he's also, I'm strong on the border. I'm strong on bipartisanship. And it's what's happened over the last 4 years, and particularly, especially once we got into that Trump year. Democrats seem to be afraid to stand on, to look like, hey, we're kind of aggressively going after what we want, our platform. And it's we got to be bipartisan. And it's the opposite end from everything that I've seen from a lot of conservatives. It's nah, we're gonna go in there. I'm not. I'm gonna go in there and I'm going to go extra. I'm gonna go extra right. And for me, when you look at the records of these 4 people, the two running for Senate, it's clear. I've heard from Katie Hobbs, I've heard her platform, not just the border stuff, with education, with it comes to healthcare, medical prices. She seems to have an actual plan and structure. I haven't heard that from Kari Lake. Same deal goes for Mark Kelly and Blake Masters. Blake Masters, he about guns, he about outlawing abortion. I haven't heard one word about prescription drug prices. I haven't heard one word about working across the to get anything done. So for me, as a voter in Arizona, I'm not exactly as
We lost you right there, bro.
months.
We lost you at that last part. As a voter in Arizona.
As a voter in Arizona, being about all this material over the last few months, I feel strongly that the Kelly and the Hobbs side would be better qualified, would be more suited to lead, because I've heard actual plans, actual policies from these people. I have yet to hear that from the Masters and Lakeside. So please, if you live in the state of Arizona, monitor the situation and vote. And it's doubly important when it comes to the governor and secretary of state, because Arizona, and this is national implication, we are a swing state now. And we just had a fucking fraudulent, or I shouldn't even say that. We had a voter recount because of everything from 2020. If you remember what happened January 1st, 2020, everything involving certified, it's important you vote. And it's important that you vote in a way. These things have implications, and these things, the language that a lot of these people are using, I'm not going to announce that I concede, even if I lose. That should worry you, whether you Republican or Democrat. If you believe in democracy and you believe in the system that we have, you should want to run far away from the people who are saying, I won't respect the election process and concede. If it's shown that I lose, I'm only going to acknowledge the results if I win. That is some childish shit. That is irresponsible. And that is dangerous language. That's all. When it comes to Arizona, I will cede the floor to you guys to talk about some stuff in Michigan, but that's just my 2 cents on the people running here for governor and senator in our state.
Yeah. So Tudor Dixon has been one of the people that has been running. And she's running for as a Republican. One of the biggest parts that she's been running on is essentially her language has been kind of the same thing as it seems like a lot of these Republicans are trying to replicate the Trump language. is making Michigan better. And so it's the same context, bring back Michigan. It's the same language as Make Michigan.
Did they go to Canada?
Yeah,
What is this
exactly.
bullshit?
Yeah, that was kind of the weirdest fucking language about that. Is that like her thing was bringing back Michigan, and it's the language that she was using is basically was talking about like she was for pro life, and that's been like the biggest thing that's on the ballot for recently. Is being pro choice or pro life, and we wanted to on one of the proposals is to bring back Roe v. Wade at least into Michigan, and as you all know, like with the Supreme Court, basically it left it to the 50 states to decide if they wanted to have a law that was similar to Roe v. Wade. Gretchen Whitmer, who has been who's been our Democratic candidate and has been an incumbent actual governors running against Tudor Dixon. Now, cool. It would sound exciting. Usually if you're a fucking like, you would think like, man, these two women are fucking killing it and they about to run for this role. You should technically be excited about it.
It's 2 women alone.
Right, yeah. So it should be fucking exciting, especially in this particular area. So for Gretchen Whitmer, it seems like with her, a lot of people have been excited about, at least on the Democratic side, how she handled during the pandemic. She did seem like she was actually trying to follow a lot of the Andrew Cuomo actual route as well. He seemed like he was handling fucking New York the right way, but we ain't gonna talk about that. He fucked up. What'd you say?
I'm associated with that.
Yeah.
She was trying to follow the CDC, the Center for Disease Control's recommendations. Let's be clear.
Yes, correct. I will agree with that.
Cuomo in with her.
You don't want to associate her with Cuomo because
I don't want to. Well, no, because the only reason why I'm associating her with Cuomo is because of the fact that he was one of her major supporters in a lot of the decisions that she was making. So, but he absolutely, I firmly agree how much he fucked up. He fucked up like really badly. So, but it seemed like during the pandemic, I wasn't the only person that was watching the news. Seemed like he handled that shit, but come to find out, he was Brett Favre in that shit. So, realistically, like, it seemed like she was handling that shit with for the CDC as in the regulations for the actual COVID during the pandemic with as smooth as she possibly can, and she had some of the strictest rules for it. And so on the right side, it seemed like a lot of people did not really appreciate it. I know in Holland, Michigan, they had a store owner who is actually fighting and couldn't even open their store because of the fact that like they were breaking the rules and regulations, and they got even sent to jail and they lost their license for their store. And I'm not as a person that's conservative on for her, that store owner, yes, obviously Gretchen Whitmer seems like she's a problem. But I support Gretchen Whitmer. I think that Gretchen Whitmer handled a lot of that shit the best way she can. But JT, on your end, what is your views on the governor's race as well?
Tudor Dixon is an election denier. That's all you need.
Yeah, that was the biggest name.
Anybody who is on some bullshit, let me tell you, there was 64 lawsuits. 63 of them were thrown out for lack of evidence. And the one that they won was like a 2-week stay of some crap. They got 2 weeks longer because of something was technically wrong. But it was zero voter fraud found. Donald Trump's own administration said that. So anybody who is dick riding Donald Trump, talking about how these elections are getting stolen or at risk, and is basically just lying to you.
Yeah,
that's all. You bought this shit in 2020, so why wouldn't you buy it now?
Yes.
Most of the people who voted for Trump ain't off of his dick yet. You know what I'm saying? They still ain't picked it up, put it out of their mouth yet. So that's the only reason why Tudor Dixon is even in the conversation. Is because she was like, I could be Donald Trump 2.0 for Michigan. And
yeah.
just started cheering him on for every dumbass thing he did. So if you want more of the same, which we already saw doesn't work, you go ahead and vote for Tudor Dixon. And just, I really appreciate all these neighbors that got their shit in their lawn that lets me know not to mess with them. They don't get invited to the barbecue because they still on some old shit. They still on the big lie. You got to get over the big lie. And the problem is the Republicans really ain't bringing nothing new to the party. All they got is old fear, the same old fear. Oh, well, the place is changing and a bunch of foreigners are coming in, diluting the area. You know what we should do? We should take all the resources out of government so they don't get any.
Yeah.
That's what. So,
brother, you hit on one of the best points. There is nothing new. They are putting out the same album. They've been putting out anti-gun, like they've been on this abortion, anti-gun. They coming for your gun shit. Now, I'm 31. They've been on this my whole life. I'm sure they've been on this since y'all been a little kids. Y'all keep putting out whoop that is. It ain't hot no more. Stop trying to be memes and put out this is why I'm hot. Quit, for the love of God. Future, put out something different and put out something new. Come up with a new album, please.
But they can't. That's the problem. They can't. They are stuck on the same old supremacy. So that's what it is.
So I think a better analogy would be they are the iPhone, technically, of parties. We're gonna sit there and say that we got this new updated program, but technically it's the same device. Yes, the camera looks nice, but realistically, you're not putting out anything new. It's the same thing over.
iPhone is arguably superior in many instances. The Republican Party is not.
Fuck.
Especially when they keep putting forward people who have the same regurgitated shit as the last guy who didn't win the election, and that's what you think is your front runner. Y'all are messing up so hard. Gone is the day of the Republican Party when I was coming up, man. Them some people you could actually think about voting for and not feeling icky. But these days, what we've gotten is just folks who are more extreme.
Yeah.
That's the problem. This is one of the reasons why we need ranked choice voting. You go in there and you say, I like them, and if they don't win, I like them, and if they don't win, I like them. And go in and submit your vote.
Yeah.
That way, your vote matters regardless of if your first choice got thrown out. So you don't have to go in there and hit your horse up to the craziest person just because you think, well, I guess they're probably going to win. Now you can vote for them third. Vote for the people you actually wanted to vote for first and second.
Also,
it's amazing.
It's our democracy, y'all.
Yeah, it's amazing how phony a lot of these guys are, because if you do even just a little bit of research on some of these Republicans running, you'll find in they past they were real liberal-ish back in the day. Herschel Walker, homeboy running out in Georgia with that fake police badge. I don't believe in the abortions. He got 2 abortions, like 2 women coming out saying, hey, let's get abortions. Carrie Lake, one last point on her, she was a newscaster here in Phoenix, very popular for years. She was one of those people who would be hanging out, chilling. She had a drag queen best friend. Seen that on the news. Drag queen best friend. She didn't turn around and drag queens are now, they're the greatest they're threats to children. And so it's just like, you don't really have anything that you're standing on as a person. So like the party when we was growing up that I remember is the Republicans, and it was annoying, but they were the party of personal responsibility. They were the moral party. And it's like, your last president that all y'all are on this dry, shriveled up nuts is like the most sinful motherfucker you can imagine being in charge. And then all of these people are just so contradictory with their behavior. And it's like, how can you have any respect for them or yourself for voting for them? But it's just, people want to win.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man. They're just trying to do what polls well. They're just trying to tap into the same fear that their party found successful in previous years. And you go in and you actually meet somebody, when you meet and you talk to your neighbor face to face, and you look at them as a human, a lot of your ideals get put on the back burner. You don't get to enforce your ideal if your neighbor is Mexican, that we need to go, increase the border wall. They'll go tell you about that stuff. Like, oh, yeah, my cousin lives down there. Man, you know that you can just walk around it in a lot of parts, right? It's not even like a whole wall altogether. For real, just go find your Hispanic neighbor and ask them what things is like in their country and coming over here, how things are different. And you get a whole lot of interesting context. But I think a lot of problems is most people in America, they scared to go out and invite their neighbor over for dinner. They don't want to say something that's going to offend them. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of slippage into folks who pretty much say that, oh, well, these issues are too touchy. We can't talk about these issues. You know what I'm saying? And those folks, I think you've probably seen it more on the local side. But the whole too confusing, too extreme. You seen that billboard?
I didn't get to see that billboard, but I would say
There's a advertising campaign against Proposal 2 because
yeah.
it changes a bunch of stuff, and it's too confusing and too extreme.
How can something be too extreme if it's confusing?
Well, the
You
thing
have to be.
is, you don't understand it, neither do you.
I
As opposed to explaining the issue, they're saying, "Oh, you don't get this. You shouldn't vote for it. You don't understand it."
and that's kind of going into like one of my points is the reason why you need to be able to actually understand what yes says and what no says. It's because of the fact that there's been even fucking in where we stay at JT, they had a fucking ballot for like to get the school more funding for their one of the schools over here to get more funding for their football field. And instead, because of the fact that you voted yes, you will give money to the actual school. But if you vote no, they'll take that money in the back end from something else and actually use that money towards the actual school to build their field. So either you donate the money initially or they take it from some other program to actually build this stadium for the school. And so like, it's kind of like, bro, for real, what the fuck? Like, and you need to just fucking put it in plain language. Newspapers usually write shit in at a 7th grade level. Why are we not doing the same thing for our fucking ballots, dog?
Well,
Even youngly.
Things that ballotpedia.com does.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And this is going to be a comment to you and a compliment to like you bringing up Ballotpedia because we use Ballotpedia and we use a couple other resources for it. And this is why I'm an advocate for the aspect of having a absentee ballot because of the fact that technically when you go to the poll, yeah, you're not supposed to be using no electronic devices. You're just supposed to be just going and voting. But at least when you are back at home, you can actually make that decision informed and be able to actually talk to several other people or look it up your damn self and find out what you're fucking voting for. Go ahead.
Ever since I've lived out here in Arizona, I've been voting by mail for one reason. I work during the day and I don't have time to take off, go to the polls, wait for however long, and then vote. Two, I'll be honest with you, it's hot as hell in Arizona and I'm not standing outside for them. Most importantly, I have time when I'm at home to actually go over, study the ballot, and then I can actually do a decision.
Yeah.
When people are blind voting, a lot of times they don't. They're kind of, it might be a rush. It's just like, I know who I'm going to vote for mayor or city council or president or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then for some of the stuff that I don't have time to read, I'm just randomly checking it. It's just like, nah, that's not having an informed voting base. But maybe that could be, and I don't want to get too tin hat full conspiracy, maybe that is kind of the goal for some of these proposals and for some of these elected officials.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that is just with the goal of just being confused as fuck, man. And they know that they're gonna make people confused as fuck with it. Now, what are some of the proposals that's being utilized, that's being voted for out there in Arizona, Jamel?
Gonna be honest with you, the main proposals that we have to do with school funding,
Okay.
particularly in the neighborhood that I'm in. And so I always tend to vote in favor of school funding. We've also got an interesting one, changing the language of the voting and proposals so that they're not kind of
You broken up a little bit, man.
would be that is important. It's like, okay, if this is straightforward, like I can understand this in a way, that's gonna make me more informed as a voter. But it's been rough, to be quite honest with you, how we've been getting bombarded with this stuff. And it is I'm glad the 8th is coming up. Just I want to see the time that y'all for before we move on to the movie because I think that's another interest. Like head of state is another. It's like we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, it's many proposals out here are doing with school funding. So I'll see it to you guys until we wrap up to the.
Yeah. So proposal one for us has been legislative term limits and financial disclosure amendment. If the person votes yes, they vote to support the Constitution Amendment to change the term limit for the state from 3 to 2 year term, 3 2-year terms. That's equals to out to be 6 years in the state house, and 4-year terms, which equaled out 8 years in the state senate to 12 combined years in a legislature, and provide that elected state legislative and state executive officials must file annual financial disclosure reports on their income, assets, liabilities, gifts from lobbyists, positions held in certain organizations, and agreements on future employment. If a person votes no to that actual proposal, they vote to oppose the constitutional amendment, thus continuing the term limit requirements for the state legislators of 3 to 2 years to 6 years. In the state, they go back to 2 4-year terms, so 8 years. So, which this is a fucked up one, man, because of the fact that you vote yes on this one. Then great, you know that the person has a shortened term, but also on top of that, you know they're lobbyists. But now I'm going to ask you this question, JT. If you knew that you had a shorter term, would you believe that you will go with as many lobbyists as you can to make sure that you make a big bang for your buck? Or do you try to run with the idea of, I guess you would say, the morality aspect of it?
I don't see why the amount of lobbyists would change. Basically, what they're doing is they're limiting the amount of time you can be serving.
Okay.
Is 12 years combined.
Fair.
That's 2 years short of the maximum that you are able to do now. Which
Yes.
is 6 years in the House and 8 years in the Senate for a total of 14.
Okay.
All they're doing is taking 2 years out. If you're serious about serving in Michigan and you can do 2 years in the House, then you better switch over and do your
8 years. Yeah.
So that's makes sense to me. Now, the most important part about that is, though, and then you need to tell us where you got all this money
from.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be information now. Every single state needs to enforce this type of act, is that everybody discloses on their financial statements their assets, liabilities, and gifts from lobbyists and their positions held in other companies. That's very important because you need to know the context of where your government, your representatives are coming from. Your government agents who are working on, they're supposed to be working on your behalf, the behalf of the people. They need to show where their money is going and coming from. Absolutely.
Yes.
100%. So this is a definite yes
Yes.
vote for me.
This would-
I don't see why you would not want to make things better and more updated.
Update. Yeah. I think that. Go ahead. What you gonna say, Jamal?
Just add something real quick when you were talking about it shows where the money's coming from. That also is kind of more informed for you as a consumer because you can actually see, okay, the businesses that I'm going to, what causes are they donating to? What causes basically? Because that's gonna it's the main reason why something like this might not happen because it can mess with money on another end. And it's like, I kind of want to know if I'm supporting this business and you're supporting a cause that's particularly harmful to myself, people, I'm not going to be rocking with you. So I think it's critical that something like nationwide and be implemented.
I'm gonna speed fire through this. The Michigan proposal for number 2, yes, to support adding several elections and voting related policies to the Michigan Constitution, includes some policies that exist in statute and others which will be new. Proposal 2 will be creating a 9-day early voting period, requiring voters to present photo identification or sign an affidavit when voting in person, requiring the military overseas ballot postmarked by election day or count, which I was very fucking supportive of that. Providing voters with a right to request an absentee ballot, fucking supportive of that. Requiring the state to fund prepaid stamps and a tracking system requiring the state to fund a number of absentee ballots, providing the local government can accept charitable and in-kind donations to assist with running elections.
Slow down, bro. Let it breathe.
Oh yeah. Well, I apologize. I'm sorry for because it's a lot. It is a lot. It is
a lot. We got plenty of time.
All right,
Go
cool.
ahead and go through it.
All
Don't
right.
get intimidated by
So no, I'm not getting intimidated. I was looking at the time. Creating a 9-day early voting period. Required voters to present photo identification or sign an affidavit when they vote. They're voting in person or applying for an absentee ballot. Requiring that military and overseas ballots postmarked by election days are counted. Providing voters with a right to request an absentee ballot. Requiring the state to fund prepaid stamps and tracking system for absentee ballot. Requiring the state to fund a number of absentee ballot drop boxes, providing that local government can accept charitable and in-kind donations to assist with running elections as long as the donations are disclosed and aren't from foreign entities. And providing that the election officials are responsible for election audits, requiring election audits to be conducted in public and requiring election results to be certified based on votes cast. Proposal 2 would also add constitutional language saying that harassing, threatening, intimidating conduct, as well as laws, regulations, and practices that have the intent or effect of denying, abridging, interfering with you, or unreasonably burdening the fundamental right to vote are prohibited. If you vote no, you oppose adding these elections and voting related policies to the Michigan Constitution.
Let's be clear. These are voting protected.
Yes.
We absolutely need them in our state constitution.
Yes.
We need them in our state constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The more states that have this, then we need to put it in our federal constitution.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are trying to take away and marginalize the amount of folks that can vote. So when we get this law on the books, it'll actually help us carry out better, smoother elections in the future by clearly defining what's going to happen.
Yes.
We
and that's
had no real problems last year with that election.
But at the same token, there were intimidation tactics that was used at certain polling areas, and that's the fucking sad thing about this.
That will now be illegal.
Illegal to do that, yes, according to this new actual proposal, which is a big thing. The one part that I was surprised about was that we still have not actually made Election Day a federal holiday, but we're voting for federal officials.
There's a reason for that.
Obviously, we know what's out there. Like some people would say.
Look, the Heritage Foundation. If y'all go to heritage.org, you will see the Heritage Foundation. The person who founded the Heritage Foundation, that man, he can be seen on YouTube on a video talking about how we don't want everybody to go vote. Them being conservatives.
Yeah.
They don't want everybody to go vote because their possibility of getting elected goes down as the voting populace goes up.
Yeah.
They don't want everybody to vote. And so in a democracy, we need everybody to go out and vote. It is your duty to go figure out why these things matter to you and then go vote accordingly. And
exactly.
If you're not that, you are letting yourself and your neighborhood down because it could be your voice that tips the scale. And
yes.
Everybody goes around thinking, my vote's not going to matter. My vote's not going to matter. That's more y'all staying home just like they that ain't in your corner want.
Yes.
So if you look like me, you need to go vote.
Yeah.
If you are any shade darker, you need to go vote.
Yeah.
Because of the history in this country.
Yeah, man.
Tell them about Prop 3. We can get this wrapped up.
Yeah, man. Last and final proposition is right to reproductive freedom initiative. A yes vote would support providing a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom, which is defined as the right to make an effective decision about all matters relating to pregnancies, including but not limited to prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, contraception, sterilization, abortion care, miscarriage, management, and infertile care. If you vote no, you oppose all of those decisions. I ain't a fucking female, but I ain't gonna tell you. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I voted fucking yes to all of these. So I just think that like we don't have no fucking decision when it comes to fucking women's rights. What they fucking do with their body. I will say if the reason why this makes the most fucking sense to me is the fact that a person can have the audacity to say that like, oh yeah, man, I want to go get a nose job. I want to go get a boob job or whatever like that, or go get a BBL done. And that's perfectly fine. That's fucking normalized, right? But the first thing that person will say is that God gave you this thing, right? God is this, and like you have this religious aspect of it, but not even taking away. You're taking away the aspect that like you contradicted yourself, man. If a person wants to go do and deal with whatever the fuck they want to deal with, they let them fucking do and deal with whatever the fuck they want to deal with. So God gave that person that nose. God gave that person that flat ass. God gave that person those smaller body parts or whatever that shit that you don't like. But you ain't saying that it's illegal to go get plastic surgery done. That's a whole fucking profession. So with that, that's one of my smaller examples of why I think that is the fucking stupidest thing to sit there and tell a person that they can't go decide what they want to do with their fucking body. JT, Jamel,
How many times your parents done said, I took you into this world,
I'll take it. Yeah.
And then they gonna sit there and be like, oh, but now we gonna vote no on that ballot. So you was just bullshitting then, huh?
Yeah.
Because we know good and goddamn well some of them parents was not kidding.
Yes.
They say, I hide your body, make another one look just like.
Yeah, bro. I've been around a person when their parent straight up told them that I should have aborted you, and the fucking hurt on that person's face, dog. It's a fucking new thing, and it's the most disrespectful thing. And I know that the game said it in the song "Hate It or Love It" that he's glad that Brenda didn't have that abortion, and that's cool. But I mean, you know, the sad thing is that like you still don't. She had the fucking right and the decision to make left or right if she wanted to have that a fucking abortion. But at the same fucking token, my God, man, I've been around that side, and it's fucking hurtful. But at the same fucking token, man, I just can't see the hurt on a fucking person when they go into these places to go get that operation done, and they got fucking people protesting outside of that. That got to be fucking also hurtful and humiliating as well, dog. Especially if you know you're a person that gotta have this fucking operation done. Especially when you know the history that possibly happened. You know what I mean? So I have no fucking rights. Oh, go ahead. What you gonna say?
I'm gonna say this is one of them issues where I'm like, I don't know why we got all this hoopla over it.
Bruh, I don't understand.
We don't do anything else like surrounding the kid to improve their life. Like so many people will come out and be anti-abortion, but don't say nothing about helping to fund early child care or early child care education. We've got a formula shortage in this country, and it's being really done to address that. Diaper shortages happen, and it's just like you're not addressing any of the things surrounding the child. But you just like, nah, that kid got to be born, and then the foster care system is kind of shitty. And like, honestly, I could not imagine being a woman or being a teenager and having to make that decision of getting an abortion. And you got these assholes out there protesting and demonizing this child, and it's like, it don't even need to be like this. We honestly don't need to go like this. It's just like, yo. Let these people, even if you want to go the most absolute cynical, selfish way, oh, these are just women doing this because they were hoeing around, got pregnant. It's just like, dog, if somebody want to hoe around, that's their decision. But it's just like, why are you so angry with somebody else with their life?
Yeah.
It's not really affecting you. Like it ain't affecting you in any way. It's just like And then all the other things that you were listing off that the proposal covers, it's with miscarriages and all this other stuff. It's like, wow, people really don't think about the services that entail with like sexual, like reproduction protection, and the that goes into all of it. It's just now we got to stop abortion.
Yeah.
Like think a little bit clearer on these issues.
Yeah.
But
Um, I will.
JT, you want to take us home on this topic before we go to some happier, like some
Yeah,
more fun.
Yeah, let's go to something a little bit more fun. Go ahead, JT. You got anything to say, man?
Nope.
Cool. We'll just go vote. I would definitely fucking say go vote, man. Make your decisions as wisely as possible. You can't say that you didn't hear from us three. Go fucking vote, bro. That's fucking important. I'm not gonna lie to you. I say my side. I say what I fucking voted, and I usually private about that shit. Vote yes. Fucking vote yes. For these proposals. Jamel, man, tell us about fucking Head of State, bro.
All right, let's get into the movie review because this is a fascinating one. First off, did we all watch the movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched the movie.
All right, cool. Head of State came out in 2003, ahead of the 2004 election. This movie is a fascinating thing to kind of go back to. You get a little time capsule with some of the music used, but you also get it's a fascinating period because movie was made 5 years before the election of Barack Obama, and really it came out a couple of years before Barack Obama kind of burst onto the national stage during the 2004 Democratic Convention. And it's like, it's funny, the movie framed Mays, the character played by Chris Rock, as such an odd choice of, we're going to elect this dude who has no shot of winning for the office of president and possibly being the first black president. And then you just think, now that we've got hindsight, it's like, it wasn't that far-fetched or far off in the future before we got a black president. And it's kind of funny looking back on it. I think the movie isn't necessarily good. There's some funny stuff in it. I think you got to try hard to have Bernie Mac in a movie. Bernie Mac and John are two people who it's like, you have to put effort into your have them not be funny. Bernie Mac is funny. But it's the movie itself, the background stuff that I find most fascinating is some of how the sausage is made material politics. I thought that was way more interesting because it's like you see the process of how the political parties act. Mays they basically picked somebody and set him up knowing that he was gonna lose. Then at the end of the movie, you had the Democrat head, somebody who was going to run for president, actively helping the Republican candidate for president out of some petty, spiteful shit. And I thought that was a really interesting way to go about it. And then some of the other jokes that were interesting. So I'm gonna let's start setting the table. Let's start chopping. JT, for you, how did you feel about the movie in general, but particularly the character of Mays played?
He didn't. Honestly, I think the movie should have been starring Bernie Mac with Chris Rock as the brother. You know what I'm saying? That probably would have been more my speed. But Chris Rock was doing a more everyman kind of, he just around the way nigga, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's just a dude from the hood. And to be so down to earth was really what helped his policy, his campaign. And so when you see Bernie Mac was talking to him in one of the scenes, and he was like, "You got to speak from your heart. These are construction workers. These are just regular old people. Like talk to them like they regular people. You know what I mean? As opposed to somebody who talks down to them, like rich people, or mostly rich people. But like when you communicate with somebody in a way that they can understand, it automatically makes them more open to you.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why you see so much regurgitation in this day and age is everybody is scared to use their own lingo because in America we have dozens of different dialects. And based off of where you go, saying the same thing might mean something a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Pop and pop. Pop and pop.
Right. You talking about popping? Who we popping? Yeah, what's up? What's up? Let's go.
Yeah, pop and pop.
It just depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
And so to see somebody with such a layman terms in there is refreshing. And I absolutely think in no small way did this movie help prime America to at least get laughing about the idea of a black guy being president, somebody who is, so colloquially known. And then we get Obeezy, who was a one-term senator, you know what I'm saying? And he was just kind of smooth with it. And everybody was like, I like this Chicago nigga style. I'm going to vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a nice change of pace for a little while. But Obama was very run-of-the-mill for a lot of the people that, he for who he was, man, he was a regular old, corporate Democrat. Nothing new. Just a tan suit. And so I think you have a lot of contrast in the movie based off of real life, versus real life because of Chris Rock's insistence on staying true to himself. And so that's something that I hope, our future candidates could actually take with them. Overall, the movie was, it's a bit of a slumper, but there's some definite comedy in there, some absolutely ha-ha moments, so you will laugh out loud. And that is the hallmark of a comedy. If it don't come out your mouth, the movie wasn't funny, y'all.
Yeah.
Got to make you laugh. And this movie definitely made me laugh more than once. Most of it was Bernie Mac getting off the train, smacking all the people. It's just the best scene.
Dog.
Hey, dog, my mixtape.
Oh my God.
Where I want to go with this with you, let's go on to Mr. Bernie Mac. I think it's fascinating that he had, during the debate particularly, he mentioned that he had the good sense to pick his big brother as his vice president. And if you kind of remember and recollect history pretty recently, vice president is always kind of a tricky choice. Barack Obama chose Joe Biden, a person who had experience and years under his belt to be his co-chair. George W. Bush had Dick Cheney, somebody who's older, has experience, should be a war criminal, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
What do you think the strength of Bernie Mac's performance as the second in command or the second lead of this movie? Mitch Gilliam, the brother of Mays Gilliam.
I think that he said it best, man, at the end, that you ain't gonna nobody gonna shoot you because they don't want me to be president of the United States.
That was a great line.
Dog, that was a perfect line.
Gotta worry about assassination.
Can I say this is the one thing that I was really fucking sad about, bro. If I'm looking at the time like completely correctly, man, he died August of 2008, so he didn't even get to fucking see the election for Obama.
Yeah. Damn. Can you imagine that?
Think about that. Think about that in fucking context, because that was the whole part of the movie, is the fact that, yes, he was running for president for 2004, but the other guy wanted to run for 2008.
He wanted to prime people for the
2008. Like, think about that. God damn. That means that, like, if Gilliam would have ran again, he would have been Obama again. Like, he would have been the second term president during 2008. And Mitch Gilliam would have been his vice president. Like, but the part that I will say this is that, like, I wish that I would have seen a scene with Bernie Mac as being the vice president. I would have loved seeing Bernie Mac at the ballroom, the initial ballroom dance, when everybody was dancing to fucking Nelly. It's hot in here and shit like that. So it would have been a different experience of being able to actually see that. But having Mitch Gilliam as vice president, I do think that, like, you would have had a more vocal vice president versus what we have in real life. That was like the funniest thing when he said to the interviewer, man, I don't know NATO. I don't know NATO.
You know NATO, his brother from the. You don't know him. See, you don't know. I don't know NATO.
I don't know NATO.
I'm talking about people I don't know.
Dog. Dog, that was just that.
It's me.
Bruh, that was the best way to basically say, I don't know, to answer. Like, that was a fucking amazing way of saying, I don't know, to an answer, dog. That was just fucking perfect.
Consistent kind of on this path. I mentioned the stuff that I found the most interesting was kind of how the sausage made element with the political stuff. We saw that with choosing Mays in the first place to run for president, and the strategy of, all right, we know we're gonna lose this election. Let's just get ready for 2008. We saw that with the selection of the vice president. We even saw that with some of the. Oh,
No.
Still there?
Yeah, we still here.
Okay, I thought I was gone. But anyway, we saw that with some of the political talking points, such as the school shooting or the school attack that happened in there. Boy, it's a topic that's never going to go out of style. JT, what of the political type stuff that was in the movie did you find the most interesting or the most like? All right, I kind of enjoyed how they played that.
I think it was when the dude who really wanted to run for president the next time around was in the opposition's room. He was like, "What are you doing in here? You want to win, right? Do what I tell you to." I thought that was the most accurate.
Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, I thought that the most accurate part was the most accurate part that I found was the idea that like going back into what Bernie Mac said is that like when they gonna let you speak. And I thought about the Donald Trump election when that happened, man. Donald Trump is always known for going off the teleprompter. And it's always been known that like he just never found like a way to be able to actually. He always found the way to kind of navigate around completely what people was writing for him. So I just thought that was like the most interesting thing about Mitch Gilliam is the fact that like he did something that a lot of fucking like politicians are trying to now do, which is use a free speech platform and basically says, you know, God, guns, and bless the United States. But they also are saying it in like, you mean, kick that reporter's ass and shit like that. And Mitch Gilliam kind of sounded like that, you know what I mean? Especially when he went and was talking about getting a debate. He was like, you try to change the channel on me? We want you to do a debate. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you we won't stop. Like that was a whole fucking thing, you know? And I just think that like having to be able to watch that part and see that like, what happens when you have a politician that goes off the rail and the power of that is fucking phenomenal, you know? And I think Mitch Gilliam definitely covered that and that aspect of that move, I guess you would say that actual movie itself. So yeah, man, that was the most accurate part I can see, at least modern day, not during the time that they were filming this.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thought to see just when you really kind of break it down in out of context. It's a political outsider, Mace Gilliam, a political outsider, Donald Trump, known for going off the cuff and using language that's not typically associated with the political stage at the time. So a more dark person, the darker take could be, it may have primed America for Barack Obama. It also may have primed America for, say, a candidate like Donald Trump, because he said shit during one of the debates, and it was really like, you can't say shit, and then it's just he said it, and it's just like, wow, that not too long ago, language like that was just not expected. Like now, somebody calls somebody an asshole or some bitch or something like that, I kind of expected. Also, him roasting his mom. Had big Ted Cruz getting his wife roasted by Donald Trump and him bitching up and doing nothing about it to it. Except the character in the movie actually did do something. So that once again, somebody else has bigger balls than Ted Cruz. Anyway, if you were to say improve one aspect of this movie, to take it from a stumper to perhaps an edger, JT, what's the element that you would improve besides the obvious, making Bernie Mac the central character? Because honestly, he absorbs so much attention. The second he becomes fully in the movie, it's his movie. And Chris Rock is decent in the movie, but Bernie's the star. So besides that, what's something that you think could bump this movie up if it gets tweaked or elevated?
I think honestly they could have done away with the whole Robin Givens character.
Yeah.
I thought that was she was dragging the movie down, and like to go from watching her in something serious like Boomerang, to this was little. It was really just low hanging humor.
But you got to think about it.
Movie down. And like this whole security thing was cool, but like it could have happened to other people. It happened to other people plenty, but there was a lot of funny stuff, and the movie I think didn't take itself too seriously. Also, I don't think the movie was terribly poignant. You know what I'm saying? Like it really didn't stop and be like, yeah, but like, what if? And then stare at the camera for a while. You know what I mean? Like it was really just a black comedy film. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it was. Chris Rock made a movie, and if the gas prices don't make you mad.
Bruh, $10. Wait, hold up, dog. Can we talk about the fucking $10 for him to get some fucking gas, dog? I thought that was the biggest bitch slap in the face right then and there, dog. Was that the fact that I was like, bro, $10 to get gas? Like $10 right now, man, barely put 2 gallons in your tank. But I go ahead. What you was gonna say, man?
Besides the Bernie Mac element and making him the main character, because again, I think, and I don't want to speak for y'all, but I think we agree that should have been if Chris Rock directed the movie, Bernie Mac was the star of the movie, it'd probably be a better movie. But besides that, what's an element of the movie that you would change to kind of to tweak and improve it to go from slumper to maybe an edger?
So I would think, well, 2 things. I would have made it a fucking love story between Mitch and the campaign manager, because they kind of was fucking hinting at it the whole time. So you could have gave Bernie Mac one of the first like real serious roles that he possibly could have had, where he could have been still Bernie Mac funny, but then also on top of that still be able to have a role where he's like, oh shit, this woman, I still got to be able to kind of like impress her as well. So I think that would have been better time fill other than the Robin Givens actual placements that they was having. Now, granted, I'm not mad at the Robin Givens placement because you could see that she really kind of like invested into that point of the role. And I want to say that this is after she's like, I think this is one of her first real roles after coming off of the situation with Mike Tyson, if I'm not mistaken. This is
years and years of it. She's done other stuff between Tyson and this is way past that. I think this is maybe a decade after, I want to say, but
no, Tyson was pretty fucking like deep into 90s, man.
1992.
Yeah, what to say? She was
exactly a decade after that.
Oh no, yeah, Michael Tyson and her was together 1988, 1989. So yeah, Boomerang was right after that. But yeah, fuck, can't even give it an excuse for that, man. I'm fucking fucked up on my time. But yeah, as far as like, I thought that would have been more useful time is have the love story between them. I know that this is gonna sound weird. Either double down on the love story between them, with Bernie Mac as well as also this girl. And then also double down on the storyline of the relationship between him and Tamala Jones. It would have just made more sense, man. You just seen Tamala Jones as a girl that he just met at the gas station. He had one dance with her at this ball, and then pretty much at the very end, you mean between phone calls, pretty much at the very end, he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna make you my wife, my first lady, my wife." But realistically, you mean to tell me in this man's campaign, he had time to go on dates with this woman, do all this? It just didn't emphasize the actual romantic aspect of it. So if you're going, and also don't have NATO G dancing with two fucking white women. That just also fucked with my head as well. NATO G dancing with two fucking white women did not like help the fucking storyline at all. So the random song in between that, there should have been NATO G at the beginning, and NATO G at the end. But it is what it is. So
I'm gonna give you guys each to tell you like your favorite, like not again Bernie Mac's the like I'm gonna stop reiterating this, but he's the draw this.
Yes.
Like your favorite kind of low key funny thing. For me, I'm gonna give mine first, and then I want JT and then history. For me, it's the fact that they got hoes on demand in the campaign. To me, that was one of the funniest things. It's just like, that's probably something that real life politicians should have and kind of avoid some of these scandals. It's like, we should probably have hoes on demand, like just somebody on staff getting paid regularly. But it's just like, all right, president need a little bit of service. Go ahead, take care of them, whether that's a man, whether that's a man, if the president gets down. That way we can avoid some of this stuff. That way we ain't got to worry about the president going to the streets, going and messing around with some harlot or some male harlot out there causing some ruckus and causing problems. Now we got somebody on staff that can handle that. Somebody intelligent, somebody who's discreet, somebody that knows the role. That's something I found not necessarily bust a gut funny. I got a good chuckle out of that. So let's say what's your favorite small funny thing in JT?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, all right, if we did, because my favorite part was how fucking your boy Bernie Mac dropped Chris Rock in the middle of the fucking room, bro. And he said, "Hey, Chris Rock said, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna tell Bob."
But we all know everything involving Bernie Mac in this movie is the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
We're talking about small funny.
The part where he went into the house to go save Miss Pearl. And he said, "Miss Pearl, you see Malcolm X get shot. You see Martin Luther King get shot. John F. Kennedy be president." He named all this historical shit. And he said, "Miss Pearl, you really think they gonna give a fuck about you in this damn place?"
Got the hell out of there real quick.
No. Bro, the look that she gave, she was like, "Bro, you right." Oh, yeah, that was my shit, dog. And I don't want to be a broken record, but when Lewis was dropping everybody like fucking Black Mask, dog, he was.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was.
All right, DT, have you come up with your small funny thing?
I like how he
I've
dropped old
kind of
girl.
a bigger one before we wrap
I
things
like how
up.
he dropped old girl off in the middle of the road. Like,
Oh,
security.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was talking with my wife about the proper time to smack somebody. And there's some people out there, apparently, they just think that there's never a proper time to smack people. There is. And I tell you what, that was the deception. Oh, you just a dumb nigga. Oh, but you need a dumb nigga's ride now, huh? I tell you what, man, that is just the slap a hoist moment. This is a learning opportunity for us both. Get off my bus.
Actually, there you go, right there. That if that was the biggest part that I would have fixed in the movie is the fact that he apologized to her. I hated that part. I really, really, truly hated that part. It's because of the fact that, like, no, somebody needed to check her on calling me a ignorant nigga, especially when we on this campaign trail and you just told me that you put me down as a person to fucking lose, but you gonna call me the ignorant nigga the whole time. You ignorant enough to think that this white man's gonna take care of you. So
Character was flawed because she had that much confidence to be like, I'm rolling with him when old white dude wanted to be like, hey, let's torpedo this campaign, but then she just turned around and be like, nah, I'm with him. And it's just like, nah, you ignorant nigga. And so, yeah, her character, I like Lynn Whitfield. I think she's a really good actor. Line between love and hate as a classic, but they could have did some more polishing of her character. So,
yeah,
since we've been talking about him the entire time we've been talking, I want to wrap things. And you can't pick the same moment. What's your favorite Bernie Mac moment in this movie? Jason,
Coming off the train.
history, you get one. JT, you get one, and I'm gonna try and pick a separate one. Let's keep it separate with so. First up, history. What's your favorite Bernie Mac moment in the movie?
Fuck, the way he whooped his brother's ass, dog. The way that he whooped his brother's ass is just perfect, dog. Cause he thought he was like Maze, and he was checking if he died, dog. He dropped him so fucking hard that he just thought that he died, and then he said, "You better not tell mama." Like, it was so fucking bad, and it was just when I watched that part, I just was like, man, I kind of just wish I had a brother like that. But that was my part. Yeah, it was between that and then the speaking part, man.
What is your Bernie Mac?
Coming off the train.
Just so our favorite parts is just Bernie Mac just beating the piss out of people the whole fucking movie.
People who deserved it.
Well, yeah, all right. I give you yes or no because he beat the piss out of Maze.
You could argue that only one of them people deserve like genuine to get smacked, and that's the dude trying to sell him that demo. The one, like,
everybody else was there for themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, it's him it's anytime he was interviewed. It was the news interview where he was just like, do you know that Nino Jacobs? Name him old boy from Detroit.
Dog.
Like, train smack. It's because it's Bernie Mac Distilled. Like, it's just, I feel like no one gave him a line during that. It was just, all right, let's just let Bernie go. And then he was always saying the stuff that he was saying about being a bail bondsman during the interviews, where he's just like, what is a bail bondsman? A bail bondsman helps people. America helps people. And I really, it's just, again, we should, like, first things first. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. God
so,
damn.
Yeah.
Put him in
Well, quick question as well. This is going to JT. Do you feel like the reason why you think you would enjoy Bernie Mac being Maze instead of Mitch is because of the fact that he sounded like he was a better politician than Maze?
Yeah. He had a bit more substance behind his run for office. Chris Rock felt like a fall guy. You know, he had zero chance and just messed around and did it.
Yeah.
But part of that was because of who his family was. You know what I'm saying? And you see his brother push him to be his best version of himself, just like he had always been teaching him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's nice to have somebody in your life who, even if they fight with you, beat you up every now and again, that you know that they want you to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
So I think it's because of the journey of Bernie Mac too. Like, knowing, like, since Bernie Mac's passed and then some of the docs that come out about him, knowing like his struggle to even get to the place that he was, say, by the end of the 90s, when he was guest starring on Moesha as Uncle Bernie, just for him to get to that place, it was a struggle for him that time. And so I think there was always a little bit kind of a people's champ type of vibe to Bernie, where it's like Bernie really did feel like he was from the hood. It's just like somebody from somebody else made it level. I'm not saying that Chris Rock isn't, because if you know Chris Rock's story, he got the journey. But Bernie, he got that. There was always that kind of connection, that down home connection that you had with Bernie. I think that's why in this role, it could have been more if he were the star, because, like you said, there was just a little bit more substance and there was a little bit more substance to who he was as a character. It's like, hey, I'm running for this reason. He had specific principles. Yeah, that's just me.
I mean, I would say this, man. Bernie Mac felt like he came from a place of authenticity, I guess, more so than I would say that like Chris Rock. I felt like he had to work his way to be organic, whereas Bernie Mac just was like, no, I'm is what I is. And that was kind of like I liked about him, and I wish that I would have seen that storyline where Bernie Mac had to make all right, I'm gonna read the characters based off of their character name. So like Deborah Lester, which is the campaign manager by Lynn Whitfield. If he would have been making her be better as a person, making Martin Geller be better as a person, that's Dylan Baker's character. And even if you would have had where the actual senator who would say that he was good for the people, it would have been fucking good to be able to actually see him change those people, and it would have made it more believable that we would have had a president in Bernie Mac versus Mace Gilliam, which at points in time, it just seemed like it was a skinny dude that was just bullying his way to win, which, I mean, at the end, he kind of fucking needed to. But I think that we all kind of agree to that. But when I think about like all of the Bernie Mac movies, he really hasn't had too many movies where he starred by himself, other than what I can think of is Mr. 3000. Am I correct, Jamel, on that one?
As far as like him being sole lead, yeah, that was the Bernie Mac show was focused on him, and then Mr. 3000 is really his movie. Like he's been, unfortunately, Bernie didn't get too many solo stone type as that guy. Like he in Mr. 3000, like, and I know this isn't about that. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I can't judge the movie, but Bernie's all like, it's that Bernie has an authenticity to it that you can't teach. So anyway, before to kind of put a bow on this and to head into the final stretch of the show this week, let's get the rankings of what we think of Head of State. First up, we're gonna go with the voice JT. What do you think of Head of State?
Oh, and
Head of State is a hilarious slumber.
Damn.
I give it. I mean, as far as a movie goes, it's on the borderline of being an edger, but there is no real tension in the movie. There's no stakes or nothing, because the movie is constantly reminding you that it's a comedy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take itself seriously enough at any time to actually be considered a good film.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem with it. But, it's there for you to laugh. It's there for you to laugh at and laugh with, So I think it's good for something.
Plan history. What would you rate Head of State?
Awesome. And also, we do base our rating based off of winner, edger, slumper, sleeper, and dumpster. And slumper is usually in the middle. Obviously, JT has put it right dead in the middle. I'm gonna say, because of the fact that I thoroughly enjoyed Tracy. Oh, which we didn't talk about Tracy Morgan in this bitch, dog. Tracy Morgan was pretty funny, dog, when he said that like we can watch Martin. We can watch. He said, "Yeah, we can watch Martin now." Like, that was so funny that like Tracy Morgan was so like hard up on watching fucking Martin. And the whole time I was thinking about fucking Jamel when Jamel talked about like the very final episode, him and his mom running down the street to go see the final episode.
That's that's a bit of a misremembering of the story. We didn't run. We rushed. We didn't run.
You know what I meant. I apologize. They rushed home so they could watch the final episode of Martin. So I felt a little bit of Jamel at that moment in time, and I just thought that was fucking that kind of won my heart over a little bit. I gave it an edge, man. I think that it was really good. It had too many funny moments for me that I just felt like it was a good memory. I think that Jamel said it best, that it was a time capsule. And so when I watched this movie, I definitely felt like I jumped back to like the early 2000s.
All right. For me, I am feeling the same vibes as JP. I would give it a slumper, but it's an entertaining slumper. Just like I said earlier with Black Adam, just because a movie is a slumper doesn't mean that the movie can't be entertaining. I think solely based on a lot of the strength of Bernie Mac, some stuff in Chris Rock, this movie gets to be a slumper. Yes. I laugh at it, but it's not ambitious enough to be anything more.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's no real like commentary of how important a black president could be, with the exception of the big scene at the end where they're just, hey, a black president could happen, and then all the white people in California run out to vote. That's really the only time that they approach commenting on that. Also, something that kind of brings it down is that brings down kind of a few movies that border on this, where it's black people going in and being around environments that aren't normally, and it's gonna sound offensive, but I don't mean it the way they kind of had they niggerize it. Ooh, the blacks are here. Time to play some hip hop. And got hot in here into playing around all stuffy white people. Just like, it's so fucking cringy when you hear old ass white people trying and sound anyway hip. It's like, dog, you are 85 years old and you probably product of Jim Crow and segregation. Like you can't say for shizzle or anything like that. Also, when he kind of niggerized the campaign, he came out with that big ass chain and that early 2000s denim jumpsuit with the flag on the back. Like, it was just it's like Soul Plane. It's some of the shit that's in Soul Plane, where it's like,
okay, I see it. I definitely see it.
Did you have to go that far with the nigga?
But
it didn't. I get it. Hey, we kind of want to show him as an outsider, but it's also, y'all can ease down on the Negro though. That's all I'm saying. So for me, it's a slumper, a funny slumper, but a slumper still, in my opinion.
I think
go ahead. What you gonna say? As wrestling fans, I do think we would be remiss if we didn't point out the very weird cameo that a wrestling company by the name of TNA.
Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg.
It was a weird cameo. We're just stomping the shit out of Chris Rock, which is also that, but again, that scene kind of gets brought down because the bald gentleman is one of the Nazi brothers, and I can't fuck with anything that he's in. So it in one moment I'm happy, and then the other moment's like, one of the Harris brothers. And the reason why I'm calling him a Nazi brother is that him and his twin brother, who are shitty wrestlers, one of them has SS tattoos, and that's the way they tell them. So, yeah.
Yeah. No. You know what, man? I think that it's a glorified slumper. Yeah, it's a glorified slumper. I think more and more you talk about it, I could definitely see why it's a slumper. I think that it had more political commentary than what we originally thought of, though. I think that it's kind of like we got a movie where bigger and blacker Chris Rock decided to become president. We definitely got that movie, but I think that you could see where he did a movie where he tried to pander to the stereotypes of like what white people see. But I think that they try to cover it up with the idea that like they know the dances. So you seen them do like the Harlem Shake, you seen them do like the bop and shit like that. even do the electric slide. And then you had the one security guard who was black. Was like, I don't know how to do this electric slide. And then he smacks him. And then all of a sudden he go, like, it was a whole thing. So I could definitely see that. With that, man, so it was a slumper. I guess it averages out to a glorified slumper. So voice of reason is usually done by JT this time. He looks very fucking sick. He looks like he's about to go off on to this one, but I think that he's gonna get ready for this. Are you ready to do your voice of reason, sir? Boom, he's unmuted now. All right, voice of reason is usually done by this young man. With that, man, appreciate y'all for watching our stream. Make sure that you check us out on Spotify, wherever you get your audio acoustical enjoyment from. That is the Historical Voices from the East Side. Again, Historical Voices from the East Side. We do have some.
Are you not plugging other stuff no more?
Oh, man, if you want to plug your shit, man, go ahead, plug your shit, talk your shit, man. Go ahead, do your thing. I was
before JT, if JT's not doing the voice of reason, before we wrap it up there, please make sure you guys are following us on Instagram. We are on HVFE podcast on Instagram. Make sure you're liking us on Facebook, and of course subscribing to the YouTube channel and giving us a thumbs up. As for me, your boy, please check out my TikTok. I have a few videos that I actually are kind of fun that I've been doing last weekend. One is for our Big Power Rangers. I've been giving my 10 favorite villains in Power Rangers throughout the history, so please check those out. And I've also posted within our Discord 2 additional videos, which have to do with the Injustice 3 game that should hopefully be on the horizon. One is characters within the DC universe that I want to see, and the other is guest characters that I would like to see in the series. So please check those out on my TikTok, Eastside Reviews, YouTube, also Eastside Reviews, and on Instagram at Jamel727.
awesome, man. And then also, if you want to join our Discord, you can hit that actual link right up there. That link is actually good for 7 days. So make sure you join that actual Discord as well, where we do bring up some of the topics I said, what I said, as well as also if you are part of our actual subscribers, man, you can actually be listening live to this podcast as well. With that, man, JT, back to you. Voice of reason. You usually give us something to walk away with and actually stay motivated about the rest of the week. So here is your time, buddy. What is our voice of reason this week, sir?
Well, I'm going to tell you to go vote again. Ultimately, when you go out and vote, you are having your say in what your neighborhood is going to look like. And this is why it's important to vote the whole ballot, is because the things that affect you, especially if you have kids, the things that affect you the most are going to be who's running your local government, because you're going to have to deal with the local government to do things like take kids to school, take them to the library, right up and down these streets. That's why you need to go out and vote. So you need to go make sure you actually have a say in what happens in your neighborhood. A man named Mike Murdoch said, never complain about what you permit. So if you don't go out and vote, you don't get to complain about anything that happens because you didn't do your part. You gave up your say. So that means you don't get to sit by and complain. You got to go out there and do the work. You owe it to your neighborhood to do that. And you owe it to your fellow man to go out there and have your say. Because if everybody went out and voted, it could very, very different place. And I mean that in a good way. If everybody just went out and voted. Did you know that they actually had to pass an amendment so black people could vote? We had to have a constitutional amendment back in the 1800s because we did actually have the right to go out and go to the ballot, people that look like us. So if you're just going to sit there on your hands this election day, you're disrespecting the history that came before you. You got to know about your history, and that's why you need to go out and vote. There's a delightful documentary on Amazon Prime done by Stacey Abrams, where she goes and she talks about the struggle for Georgia voters to go out and actually make it to the polls. She talks about her race for governor. She's on the ballot this coming week, and I'm really excited to see how she does. I would love for a woman like Stacey Abrams to be president of the United States, the first female president. That sounds fabulous to me. So if she does good in Georgia, man, that's gonna make the whole country turn their head down south for a little bit. It's gonna be really exciting. So there's a lot of cool things happening on the horizon for our country and your community. You just gotta go out and vote for it.